This is my review of the Dennis Wilson album Pacific Ocean Blue. It was released in 1977 and produced by Dennis Wilson and Greg Jacobson. So this album, I actually kind of got this like before I got most of the Beach Boys discography. I got it like right after I got Pet Sounds. So at that point I had the Beach Boys' greatest hits and I had Pet Sounds were the only two Beach Boys albums I had. And I was listening to those quite a bit, and I think the reason I got this was because I was watching, I was just randomly watching YouTube, and I got, like the videos pop up, and I had a video, it was like a documentary about Dennis Wilson, or like a short video about Dennis Wilson, and so I watched that, and it played like parts of this album and talked about this album a lot, and I was like, whoa, those songs sound really cool. And so I was like, I gotta go check that out. So I started, like, I looked it up on YouTube, listened to it, and I was like, wow, I gotta get that album. So yeah, this album, I think Dennis was the first, I think he was the first of the Beach Boys to release a solo album. Not sure if that's right, but this is kind of the, 1977, so later. And so it's like the kind of rougher voice sounding Dennis. I think like some people might kind of have a problem with that listening to this album. It's definitely not a problem for me. But yeah, it's the kind of rougher sounding voice from like 15 Big Ones era onward. So the first song on the album, River Song, which was I think the first song that I heard from the album. I think it's a great opener. It's got this really cool like piano part in it, which I think Dennis is playing. I'm not entirely sure. There's like a bunch of people that play on this album, but like Dennis does play, I think, a lot of the stuff. I think he plays a lot of the piano, which I think is like, I'm pretty sure he wrote most of the songs on piano. But he wrote like pretty much all the songs he wrote with a co-writer. I don't know who wrote what, but he did write all the songs on here, or at least contribute to writing all the songs on here. But I think that he was probably the main person behind most of them, from what it seems like. But yeah, anyway, River Song, just a great song. It's got this like kind of like gospel choir thing going on in it, and I think that works really well with Dennis's like rougher voice. Just kind of a really like intense song at parts and stuff, and then it goes back to this like prettier thing, which is kind of a thing that this album does. It has these like prettier parts, and then it goes like real intense, or it'll have like real dark kind of intense songs. It's just I don't know, kind of a really like moody, emotional kind of album. The second song, What's Wrong, is one of the more like straightforward rock songs on the album. It kind of took me longer to appreciate this song, probably because of that, because it's not as like, I don't know, heavy or as deep as most of the song or album is. Not, I mean like heavy as in, like musically heavy, but like, like emotionally heavy. But yeah, I don't know, it's a good song though. I like it now, but definitely like probably one of the most straightforward like rock songs on the album. The third song, Moonshine, another really cool song. I think it's got a really great vocal from Dennis. Really like emotional vocal for a really kind of emotional song. I keep saying that, but it's late. The fourth song, Friday Night, it's got this kind of cool like instrumental build-up part that's kind of like tense, and then it gets to like the vocal part, but it does kind of have I don't know, it has the atmosphere of like kind of a like Friday night, I don't know, maybe like a party where everybody's drank too much and things have gotten either violent or weird, or both. But I don't know, definitely a really cool song. Fifth song, Dreamer. This one's like almost sort of got this like it's almost like sort of funky sounding. It's got this really cool guitar part, but then it's also got this like middle part that seems like it's a different song almost. But I think like the effect of it works really cool. Like I don't think it sounds like disjointed really, but it does almost sound like a different song starts to happen, and then it kind of goes back to the way it was. But pretty cool song. The sixth song, Thoughts of You. It starts out as a kind of nice piano ballad. Then it gets this kind of like dark, intense like middle part, and then it goes back to the kind of like piano ballad part. And it's kind of like an early favorite of mine on here, but the seventh song, Time, is it's kind of a weird song, and couldn't really think of how to like describe it that well. Like my handwriting is terrible on this one too. Oh yeah, it's got kind of this long like instrumental ending part to it that I used to kind of think went on for too long, but now I like it, and I think it kind of fits well with the song because it's got like kind of the vocal parts, and then it just kind of they're kind of more like calm and stuff, and then it has this like kind of intense sounding, and the eighth song, You and I, is one of the happier songs on the album. It's kind of a more like nice chill song, which is kind of unusual for this album. Then it goes into the ninth track, Pacific Ocean Blue, the title track, or Pacific Ocean Blues, I think it might actually be called. Yeah, Pacific Ocean Blues. This one, another more straightforward rock song. I always found it pretty catchy though, and I enjoy it. I think it's a pretty cool. Technically, I don't know if it's the title track or not. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's the title track. The 10th song, Farewell My Friend, a really sad, kind of really like, I don't know, like moving tribute to like a departed friend. It's I don't know, it's a really sad song, but it's also like really cool, and it's got these like almost like owl sound effects or something going on in it that are pretty cool. The 11th song, Rainbow, is I think like the most upbeat song on the album. Really, it's got some really cool mandolin, which kind of makes it my favorite song on the album, probably because I don't know, this is such an even album for me that it's really almost impossible to pick a favorite song. But I really like the mandolin parts on this, so and it's just a really catchy song. It's cool. The 10th and final track, Into the Show, is I think in some ways kind of one of the least memorable track on the album. Maybe it's because it's the one I've gotten to the least when I listen to it, because sometimes I just have to turn the album off before the end. But it's also, I don't know, it's a really good song. Like it's a really good closing track. Obviously, like the name makes it sound like it's a good closing track, but it does. It just fits like the atmosphere of it. Just puts a nice end to this album, which has a really nice like kind of just flow to it, and a really nice atmosphere overall. Like, I mean, it's like really dark and sad and stuff, but it's cool that it like it I don't know, conveys those emotions so effectively. This album has some bonus tracks on it. There's Tug of Love, which I haven't listened to all these bonus tracks a whole lot. This one I kind of need to listen to more. I used to not really be that into it, but when I listened to it tonight, I was like, no, there's definitely like something here. I need to listen to it more, so I'm definitely going to go back and check that one out more. Then there's Only With You from the Holland album, which I talked about there. I think I mentioned this on that video that I heard this version first, and I've always kind of preferred this version with the Dennis vocal over the one with the Carl vocal, where, yeah, it's technically, yeah, Carl's a better singer, but I don't know, I just always kind of like the rougher Dennis vocal better, probably because I heard it first. Then there's Holy Man and Instrumental, which is just one of those really cool, I don't know, it's a really, really awesome song. There's a version with vocals and lyrics from Taylor Hawkins, actually, which I'll talk about more because it's on the other disc in the next video. But even in like its instrumental form here, it's so cool. Like it's one of the songs that like gives me goosebumps. Like this actually might be my favorite song on the album, really. And then it ends the bonus tracks then with Mexico, another instrumental that I used to not really listen to because it's pretty long, but it's actually really good. So Dennis Wilson, Pacific Ocean Blue. This album for me is definitely 5 out of 5. I think it was an album that was kind of like underappreciated for its time, but I think now it's kind of starting to grow and like people are starting to find out about it and stuff again. But yeah, definitely an album that's worth